my dream job, aside from like making my own stuff, would be for like every nerdcore rapper to send me their lyrics before they put them in the video, because watching these videos with like, I know sometimes people
it's the editor's fault actually mostly.
It's not though. It's whoever sent those lyrics to the editor, because I know for a fact K2 just pastes them in however they're sent.
No, I know for a fact K2 does not. He changes my lyrics all the time.
Here. Wait.
K2 changes my lyrics.
I like this as a start to the episode.
One rap. I'm sure this is pre-episode, but in the All for One rap, right? The line was "choke 'em till they hurt Vader." He changed it to "drag 'em till it hurts Vader" for no reason, because he just thought that's what it sounded like.
The force drag, the famous force drag.
The famous force. I even had.
Wait. Okay, I need to dive into this, and I need to hear more of this, because this is the thumbnail, probably, unless we get something better. Now, I don't think I've ever said this on the Breakfreeced Club before, but first of all, welcome to the Breakfreeced Club. I have said that before. Second of all, today I'm talking to somebody who genuinely needs no introduction.
I do.
If you've heard of me, you know who this is, but for the one alien who stumbled across
not your English major homies back at college who are like, oh, I wonder what Freest is up to.
They don't listen to this.
I wonder if he's using his English major in a really productive way.
Ooh, I wonder if he is. It's Daniel Rustage. It's Rustage.
It's me,
Colin
Daniel
Rustage,
Theodore Rustage. Middle name Theodore. I don't know if you know that my middle name is Theodore, Mr. Freest.
I don't think I did. So
it's Theodore without the E at the end, because it's
Theodore.
I don't know why. But it's the Oder, which is unfortunate.
I
used to be called.
Did you get that a lot in school?
Yeah. In primary school, surprisingly. I don't know how kids were that smart in primary school. These are like 10-year. These are like 7-year-old kids who are like, Daniel the Oder Rustage. Haha, we've deciphered your middle name and are able to separate it and create it into an insult.
How commonly did people know your middle name?
I like to say my full name a lot when I was a kid. I would say, hello, my name is Daniel Theodore Rustage.
I mean, to be fair, it's a very cool sounding name.
Is it?
I
don't know if it is, but I think Rustage is cool.
It's very classy.
I think the other two names are just pretty normal.
It sounds like you could possibly be nobility with that name.
Nope. The closest thing I have to nobility is that my godmother, godmother's the person you'd live to if your parents died. Her husband is a sir, as in, a knight. Or,
a knight.
You know the people who have sir in their name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I have.
He is.
Are they just called sirs instead of just knights?
Well, I think they're called knights. I was just to make it clear so you understood. He is a sir.
And he can only move in an L shape?
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
He can.
That's why I wouldn't want to be a knight.
No, I wouldn't want to be one either.
That's why you want to be the queen, because she can move in any direction.
Yeah.
And she does. She gets around, doesn't she?
She does. Yes, queen. That's what we say.
That's the traditional. Every time she comes out on the balcony, I've heard it.
Everyone goes, yes, queen.
Streets.
Yeah, slay nationalism.
You know how people are like dubbing in those videos of Italians singing from their balconies? You know what I'm talking about? Where okay, so like there's this viral video. I think like fairly early on in the pandemic, where it was like people in Italian apartments in like, big cities in Italy, that I definitely know the
big cities in Italy.
Big cities in Italy.
Big cities in Italy. Honestly, I forgot you were talking about Italy, and I thought you meant Illinois.
Illinois.
Big cities in Italy. Like slang for Illinois.
Yeah, Illy.
We're Illy and Illy.
What people call it.
Yeah, we're Illy and Illy.
Nobody.
That's my rap. That's my rap group from Illinois. My Illinois rap group is the Illy Illies.
I love the idea of a rap group in Illinois that refers to themselves as being from Illinois and not Chicago.
Yeah, because not Chicago. Yeah. No, they hate Chicago. They're like the anti-Chicago rap group. We're the Illy Illies.
We're the illest in Illy. We don't like the Windy City.
We think it's silly.
We got a better mascot than Gritty. I don't know.
bring up my gun, I'm gonna killy.
And then you add in an anime bar and you get that easy bag, and that's how you do it.
If these Chicago boys acting like villains, I'll treat these heels like a killy.
Oh, actually though, hold on. Kind of cooking though.
kind of cooking up some fresh bars.
Call these lemon bars from the way they make my face pucker.
Oh.
Look up my sleeve because I got the ace, fucker. I started swearing on this podcast last week, and I'm kind of just doing it now.
Watch me on Twitch. You know that I'm a great trucker.
Well, sources would contest that, but I don't think that the time you flipped the truck was your fault. I've been reviewing the tape, and it seems
before we tangent into that, what were you saying about the Italians singing?
Oh my gosh, we're like 3 tangents in. Okay,
you were saying that they were replacing the songs, and it would be funny if they
right. So there was this video of like Italians singing from their balconies in solidarity because it was like social distance and they couldn't be near each other, but they were like singing, I think, just like a traditional like Italian folk song or a popular song or something like that. And then people were dubbing it in with like other songs, like of a crowd singing a song together. So they did it with like Roar by Katy Perry and some other stuff. And then like those artists saw it on Twitter and they would like retweet it without fact checking it at all and be like, so beautiful, we're all one in this.
I can't believe the Italians like my music.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure somebody did it to like Bitch Better Have My Money. It's like they got really creative. Yeah. What was my point with that?
Couldn't tell you. But
couldn't tell you. Whoever wants to go back in the episode and figure out what the point was and leave a comment about it, I'll respond to that comment explaining what I was trying to say in the first place. That's a guarantee.
That's good. And I won't read that comment.
Yeah.
I don't watch Freest's channel.
No.
Who is this guy? He's held my family hostage so that he could talk to me.
That's true. It's so hard to hold people hostage remotely. I've got them on a Zoom call, and I'm pointing a gun at the camera.
With a gun pointed at the camera.
Yeah. And they've never seen a gun before, so they're very frightened.
They are cavemen. They are cavemen.
You cavemen.
We have been transported from the past, and I'm the only one who really bothered to pick up any sort of modern skills. But the rest of my family, they go ooga booga, hit rock.
I just realized that I said you cavemen, and it sounded like I was just calling you cavemen, but I meant like UK cavemen, you cavemen.
Oh, you were doing a funny joke.
Yeah, I was doing a bar. But
I mean, the thing is, I don't expect funny jokes from you, so I didn't even think.
Yeah,
I didn't even consider it.
Yeah, my normal ones are more.
Listen, you know the song Mambo Number 5?
Yeah, Lou Bega.
Yeah. My family made Mambo Number 1 back in caveman time.
Yo,
they started the trend.
They made Mambo I.
A little bit of ugh in my life.
A little bit of rug to make it. The thing is, they only had one note back then, so it was all the harmony. Not so much on the harmony. They were singing.
Well, it's the reason why they built Stonehenge, right? Is the
big chimes.
It's a really big chime.
Really big chime.
You hit the different blocks with different sticks, and you make different noises, and you could play the entirety of Mambo Number 1. Everything
you just said and put a question mark after it, and that's a final Yahoo from a Bimbam. That's like Griffin reads that and the episode ends.
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
It'd be like, this question is from Anonymous. I'm going to call them Charlie Horseman. And Charlie says, is Stonehenge really big wind chimes?
My mother said it wasn't, but she didn't try them out.
Yeah.
They won't let me near the big wind chimes anymore. Is there any way that I could convince them to let me go near them? Please help.
Please help. Then if it's an old episode, Griffin goes teens, but nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers when Griffin said teens.
I have listened to every episode.
You have?
To end, yes.
So have I.
But but my memory is not good.
The Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese? Is
The
Swiss cheese
Switzerland
memory?
cheese.
The Switzerland cheese. You're not going to try and test me now by like referencing old Bimbam stuff, because I promise you I will not get any of them.
I could have prepared a segment, but I didn't.
Like a Bimbam quiz. Like you could say Ratashudi and I'll be like, oh yeah, I got it. Right? But like,
Ratatouille, point and shooty.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get anything. My brain is too tiny.
I do want to wrap around to one salient point. You were slandering K2 Sonic Fan a second ago, and I just want to get the facts straight. Sorry,
he did a good job at Isekai Cypher. He has apologized for it. But in the Awful One rap, he messed up the lyrics. I gave him the lyrics. And
he said, you know what it was?
Wrong.
He heard All for One, and with your accent, he put it as Awful One. So it's the Awful One.
No. I'm gonna kill you. No, actually.
The way you smile when you say that makes me believe it more.
Okay, I don't know if what I said would be in the episode, so I'll just repeat it. Where I said "choke him till it hurts, Vader." That is the lyrics, but he changed it to "drag him till it hurts," which makes no sense, and I didn't catch it on the watch back. And there was a couple of examples of that throughout the Awful One track where he just changed a word for no reason.
What if instead of force choking people, Vader dragged them, like he roasted them?
Yo.
Which he kind of does, a little bit. Where he's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Or no, remember in Rogue One where he's like, take care, you do not choke on your aspirations.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bar. Because like
aspirations,
aspirations has to do with breathing, and it's like...
We're taking over space nations.
Yo, I got the respirator. You got no respiration. It's Vader, you know? Put you on a ventilator.
Ooh, I'm... Ain't no invitation.
Got some grievance postcards for your mom. I'ma send them later.
I'm pushing buttons, PlayStation.
Power level going up like an elevator. That's kind of a bar you could put into any rap, I think.
Tasted, yeah.
I think escalator is a better... Oh, go ahead. You were cooking something.
Yeah, I fucked your mom. That
Why
ain't a
doesn't
lie.
he say that? Why isn't that the ending of episode 5?
Luke, I bagged your mother.
And it's just an like a Xbox One voice chat.
She's dead now. She's dead. Unrelated.
Unrelated.
But she is dead, and I did fuck her. Those are the two facts.
In what order, Darth Vader? In what order? I need to
My
know.
name's Darth Vader. I fucked your mother. That's Luke, I cut your hand off. And I fucked your mother. And she's dead now. 3 facts. Two truths and a lie.
No!
Luke, are you okay? I'm sorry, actually. I'm just sad. You know, since your mother died. And
Do you know? Like, you know that one scene from what's
if you name a movie,
No,
there is a very low chance I'm not going to be able to see it.
Oh my god, what is the name of the show? It's
show's even less likely.
Arrested Development. And
Nope.
it's you might have seen the GIF /
Nope.
GIF, depending on your preference. It's Michael Cera like walking with his head down, and he's just like doing the sad walk. It's a very common like clip. So I thought maybe the meme sense, but like just imagine Darth Vader just doing like a sad Charlie Brown walk.
Oh, poor Darth Vader.
Yeah, poor Darth Vader.
He's murdered a lot of people. But you know, even war criminals can be forgiven.
Pardoned, apparently. There's our political reference for the week.
Yo, are you a war criminal and you need pardoning? Call this number.
Get in.
And it's like the United States.
Get in on this guy trying his very best to make people forget the last 4 years.
I've not seen a lot of movies or TV shows. I played games. I'm a video game guy, but also I've read manga. I'm a manga and video game guy.
You really know games. You really know games and you really know manga. Those are two
But
things
actually
that I
not
know.
even. Now that I think about it. But the thing
Don't
is,
you,
I
though?
did a lot of reading. A lot of the games that I played were reading games, like Phoenix Wright, etc. Games that you do a lot of reading in. But as a kid, I never watched movies growing up. So you could name a popular movie like Jurassic Park. I've not seen it. I
Yeah.
actually haven't seen Star Wars, but I've listened to the radio play of it.
There's a radio play?
Like, I was
like
in France.
I bet it was a BBC thing.
It might.
BBC does
it
great
sounded
radio
American.
plays.
Okay, I was in France and I had a phone on me, as I tend to do. It was a new phone that my uncle had bought me, and when he bought me the phone, he put Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the Star Wars radio play on it. And I was in France and it sucked. Worst holiday ever. I hated it. It was so boring. I asked my parents, what do I do? Because when I'm in France, you gotta
You speak the language.
like the French do. You gotta speak the French. S'il vous plaît. You gotta make an effort when you're in France.
Right, they love that.
And they were like, Daniel, we do not know.
Because they're Italian.
You could go because they're apparently you could go outside and play with stick, and I did that and got bored. And so eventually, I just sort of laid in my bed and listened to all of Hitchhiker's Guide and then the entire original trilogy as a radio play. And I still haven't seen the movies.
Wow.
And I was probably like 16 when I listened to the radio play.
I'm so fascinated to know about these radio plays because
They're pretty decent. I could tell what was going on. It doesn't have any narration, so it's all just like sound effects and dialogue.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're listening to the movie, but you're closing your eyes.
Right. I really like the BBC Doctor Who radio plays, as well as Cabin Pressure with Benedict Cumberbatch and I forget who else. And then like so I grew up like when I was like 6, I wanted to be a voice actor like more than anything in the world because I listened to radio dramas. So it wasn't.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't from cartoons.
It wasn't like
and
an anime voice actor. You wanted to just.
I wanted to be.
Why don't you make your own radio drama? Let's make our own radio drama.
Yo, you know what?
Okay, here's a Breakfreeced Club exclusive, and it's loosely related to radio. It's just audio thing. I want to create a musical concept album, which is like a musical.
Yeah.
But as an album.
Yes.
I want it to be a rap musical, not too dissimilar to Hamilton, but I want it to be about a
Hamilton
rapping bard
and
from
Cheese
Dungeons
Steve.
and Dragons.
Sorry,
What?
I talked over you in order to say Hamilton and Cheese Steve. What were you saying?
Hamilton and Cheese Steve. No, I want it to be a rap musical, and the main character is a rapping bard, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons musical.
Okay.
And the idea is, I think I would call the musical Rapping Bard for Hire, and it's a rapping bard who does jobs for people by rapping, and he kills monsters by dissing them, right? He disses them so hard that they die.
I like
using
that a
bard
lot
magic.
because it's like vicious
But
mockery.
then, like vicious mockery, but then like there's this like underlying story that goes ahead, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but I have the start and ending. I don't have any of the middle.
Okay. Well, that's.
But I want it to be quite generically fantasy. There's going to be a dragon. There's going to be a dungeon. There's going to be a big evil bad.
Right.
There's going to be a dwarf sidekick who's foolhardy. There's going to be like an elven rogue girl who's like the love interest, right? I want it to be kind of generic fantasy, but like it's a rap musical, and it's kind of pokes fun of it at itself. It's going to be, but that's effort and time. But I have a bunch of notes about it. And that's a Breakfreeced exclusive, personal passion project that I'm working on.
That's the kind of stuff that I love to hear about because I think like for a lot of people who are known for like a very sort of specific niche or thing, or like the thing, not necessarily that they like do the most, but that they're most seen doing. I think people like forget that people are into more than just the thing that they're most known for.
Yeah. It's true. I hate Naruto. I think Naruto's all right. I think overall it's about a 7 for me.
I think that's like the consensus among most people who like who don't just have like very strong like emotional bond with it.
When I read it all in Korea, it was better than I thought it was going to be. Tell you what, it surpassed my expectations for it, but it did really fall off. I think the first half was definitely the best part. It was good.
If I had the time, I mean, I'm sure I could make the time. But if I had infinite time, I think my ideal way to take in Naruto would be to read the main story and then watch the fight scenes.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what I did. I read it. I like to prefer to read manga, so I read it all, and then I went back and I watched the fight scenes and stuff. You got to read One Piece, though. That's your priority.
Yeah.
How far are you?
Not too much farther than I was before because something weird happened to the site.
I got a new site for you. A new site for you.
Okay.
I'm like a drug dealer for manga. I actually have a way better site for you. It's the one I showed Breton. I'll have to send that to you.
Yeah. And I have an actual monitor now because before I was on my laptop.
Listen, I'm telling you, right? This is your chance to be on a Rustage song.
Okay.
I don't know if that's actually... I say that like that's a thing you want, but...
Is that not a thing that everybody wants? Sorry.
No, I don't.
Is that not a thing that everybody wants?
No. There's no way. I feel bad whenever I ask someone to be on one of my songs. I feel like they're giving up their time to provide me with their verses, and I feel guilty. This is a better link.
This is a guarantee that you can take to the bank. Nobody feels like that. Everybody's stoked.
I don't know. I definitely think some people do. I think Divide does.
Here's the other thing. Even if it were not a Rustage song, and if I just heard one of your beats, I would want to rap over it.
Fair enough.
It's the production quality alone.
Okay, so if you continue reading, and you don't even need to read that much, actually. Well, no, you do. I've already said that if I ever do a One Piece villains cipher, which I probably will do, I want you as Buggy.
You said Buggy, and I've encountered Buggy, but I haven't gotten too far into
to know him.
To know
personally.
him, yeah. I've gotten from an outside perspective of him.
Yeah. He's a clown.
Yeah,
and you're a clown.
Yeah, Pagliacci.
In your own special way. Deep down inside, we're all clowns.
Send in the clowns.
There's a clown living inside all of us.
This is the other Bimbam moment where Justin sings "Send in the clowns." From every what is he?
Is the Breakfreeced Club just you reminiscing about Bimbam?
That's most episodes. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know. That's.
What if someone was on here who doesn't know what Bimbam is?
Well, then they can leave. There's the door.
Has that happened?
I really don't talk about it that much.
Who's been your most prolific guest?
My most prolific guest, who's been on the most?
Oh, I guess so.
That'd be Olaf,
I don't know what the word prolific means.
Well, prolific just means I don't know, I was gonna sub it out for another equally obscure word. I was gonna say vivacious, and that's nothing.
Yep. Well,
prolific is
it's your English major.
Okay, so prolific, when you use it in terms of describing an author or an artist, it usually just means that they do a lot, they're
do a lot. You're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I apologize. I apologize for that.
Normally I would cut out a sneeze.
Huh?
But I don't know if I can in good conscience cut out that sneeze.
I used to get made fun of for my sneeze all the time by teachers. Teachers were the ones that would make fun of me because they always thought it was a girl sneezing in class and would always be like, "Daniel, that was you."
That sucks. It's a great sneeze.
I don't love embarrassing moments.
I have more of a shotgun sneeze. I got a good old 12 gauge going off. Double barrel.
I just remembered a moment. Can I just tell you a little story about one embarrassing moment in my English class? You're an English major. You'll appreciate this. So we were watching the Romeo and Juliet movie. You know, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Not seen it, but I'm familiar with Romeo and Juliet.
It's the
look at that a movie you've seen that I haven't seen.
Yeah, crazy. Only because we watched it in school. You don't need to see it. Basically, it was raining when he was sad, and the teacher asked the class when the weather changes to affect the to emulate the mood. What is that called? I knew it, right? And I was really proud to know it. I knew it was pathetic fallacy. I knew that, right?
Okay.
But I put my hand up. I was like, I got it. The teacher called on me. Right? So I've never been more confident in my life. My brain, I was like, pathetic fallacy. And I yelled out, cerebral palsy.
No!
with so much confidence. My teacher was like, no, Daniel,
wow.
that's not right. I didn't have enough time to correct myself. She already went on to someone else, and I was just stewing in my own embarrassment.
So how was your next school after you transferred?
That teacher was very nice to me.
Oh, that's incredible.
I used to sit next to someone who made me cry, and she moved me, and that's a nice thing for a teacher to do.
That's a very nice thing to do. I don't have like really any school memories because like I think I've mentioned this around like a little bit. It's not commonly known, but like I did not go to school. I was homeschooled, K through 12. So yeah, so until I went to college or university, I was So like, and I took like some online classes, and I took some like some like spot classes throughout the week in high school, for obviously the subjects that like I was not qualified to either teach myself or like my parents weren't qualified to teach. So I don't have like any sort of school nostalgia really.
Is there anything that like you wish? You're like, it's a shame that I missed out on this.
Yes,
because I have a friend who was homeschooled. And they said that one thing that they always wanted was a kid to offer them weed and then them to refuse. Like they didn't want weed, they didn't want drugs. They just wanted the experience of being offered it by a shady school student.
So, Mom, I know you don't listen to the podcast, but if you tune into this one, turn it off.
I'll make sure. I know your mother. She's a big fan.
Yeah. She does know who you are. Like she has
That's
awareness.
surprising. My mom doesn't know who you are.
I think my mom has better awareness of who you are on the internet than who I am on the internet. I would say
wow,
that is,
why?
That is,
huh?
Probably because I've mentioned you like in several contexts to do with like because you're like you kind of are like at the center of so much of nerdcore that you're like your name just comes up.
Wow.
But like I don't really
talk
talk
lovingly about me to your mom.
Stuff.
You're like,
of course.
that Rustage. Whenever I look into his eyes, mother, what shall I do?
Oh, what was I gonna say? I wish that I'd been offered weed earlier in my life than I was, but maybe not in high school. I think it's too early. No, but the thing that I really wish, and I think that I consciously missed this, like even at the time. It wasn't something that I went back and was like, oh, I wish I'd had this. It was kind of like, at the time I was like, I wish I had this now. And it's just simply being surrounded by enough other people of your same age to to be able to pick who your friends are, as opposed to just being like, these are our family's friends, and so these are your friends.
Oh,
and maybe one of them is your age.
No, 100%. I mean, even when you're in secondary school, it's difficult to. There was only a certain amount of people that you come in contact with that you could be friends with. But I never had that issue because I've always been ever present online. I mean, I was online creating content, I don't know if I should admit this on YouTube, but I was online creating content from I was 8. I was like very young. Creating content on platforms.
Can I take a guess as to what you made? Because I don't know this.
When I was... okay, when I was 8 years old?
Yeah.
You can guess what I did when I was 8.
Did you make Lego stop motion videos?
No, I never did Lego stuff.
Never did Lego Wow, okay. Was it... I don't know when Minecraft came out. Was it to do with Minecraft?
No, Minecraft wasn't out yet.
Okay. 2 strikes. Was it gaming related?
Nope.
At 8. Okay, I don't know. What did you do at 8?
I made One Piece AMVs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that you had been making AMVs for a long time, so I should have guessed that because your channel started out as AMVs pretty much, right? Your channel way back.
This channel.
Yeah, this channel.
This channel. I think I made a AMV when I made it. However, this channel pretty much started out as a Brony music channel.
I was going to say, well, so
and you know that.
I know
right?
that, but
digging
what I
out
meant
my
is
dark
that
past.
You had maybe it wasn't AMVs. I know you had Pony music videos that you had edited. Didn't you do one to a Skillet song? Didn't you do?
Did I do one?
I thought you did like Falling Inside the Black or something like that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I did My Little Pony music videos before I did my own
in the house.
Oh, gee, falling
find
inside the
five
black. I
other
was so
people who
proud of
know
that.
that.
You know, when I rendered that. Sorry, what did you say?
I said you find 5 other people who know that fact.
Yeah, exactly. Right. When I rendered that video, my computer was so bad that I had to render each part separately and then put them together in another project file and then render it as a whole thing. It was so much effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to make My Little Pony themed music videos like AMVs, but with My Little Pony footage. But that was because I used to do AMVs before that. And I obviously, as people will know, and it's not like a secret, I guess, when I was 13, 14, I was part of that Brony community. But to be fair, I was also a child. And I did a lot of stuff. So I always had a lot of, like, I went to Brony conventions and meetups and stuff when I was that young, right?
Yeah.
I performed stand-up comedy when I was 15.
I have heard that
at a Brony
set.
Convention. Huh?
I have heard that set. You played
Wait, what?
You played the 1-chord song at the end.
How do you know?
Dude, I say this all the time. I've been here.
Is there video footage of it?
No, there is audio of it, and I don't remember where it was released. I think I don't remember where it went up. I don't remember. You must have posted it somewhere. Like maybe.
Oh, you know what?
Maybe
Yes,
on
the first
Tumblr
one I
or
did put it on
YouTube.
YouTube. I've taken it down now. You're right. You must have seen the first one.
You know
not
what
the
I had?
second one.
I ripped an MP3. It was on my iPod because at that time, I was like barely online until almost college because our internet was just bad. We were like way out in the country, and then plus my parents had all these like filters and stuff because they were super strict. So like I could only get online like maybe like 20 minutes at a time. So what I would do is I would get online. I would like download everything that I wanted to like watch or listen to from online, which is actually how I started listening to podcasts because it was something that I could. And
download.
actually, to delve even further and like bring it back around, I used to listen to Bronyville with Apple Cider and Chef Sandy. I was a big fan of that. They read one of my emails one time on the show, and I was like overjoyed. But that is where I first heard of you because the staff of Buck, which was the Brony UK convention, they were like, hey, we just started talking to this 13-year-old kid called Pipsqueak, and he's this like new rapper, and he did this freestyle. And so you had 300 subs or so at the time, and that's when I found your channel.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah,
like this.
So so that was when it was when I first started like watching your stuff.
Wow, huh? I didn't know I didn't know that they talked about me on a podcast. Yeah, that's crazy. This is like new information, like a different perspective of my life. That the convention staff talked about me on a podcast. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
It's funny because like at the time, right? I had no like, I was barely online. I had no concept of like how sort of like talking to people online worked, or like who who you could get to know, or who like you could become friends with, or what sort of the protocol was, or any of it. Plus, like add to that my like social anxiety that I've always had. Mm-hmm. So looking back on it, it's really funny to me now that I was like legitimately afraid to talk to you because you had 300 subscribers, and that was a lot.
Subscribers, that's crazy.
It was a lot. It was a lot to me at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, I did. I don't know why you had an MP3 of the stand-up, but you're probably one of the only people who have a copy of that now.
You know what? You may be relieved to hear this, or you may be devastated. But that iPod went through the washing machine, and it no longer plays. Yeah. But
I hope you enjoyed it when
you
listened to it.
I listened to it several times.
That's great. I'm glad. So yes, you have living proof that I didn't do a terrible job at 13 doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
The second year was better, but that wasn't recorded anywhere. They said they were going to record it, and they didn't. The first year they said they weren't going to record it, and they did. The second year they said they were going to record it, and they didn't. So
yeah.
Oh well. But it was good.
So it's kind of funny because it almost feels like when we talk about like you know your old stuff and like sort of the old like fandom days and whatever, or even just like up till a few years ago, it almost feels like a past life of mine because
Oh yeah, no, same. Yeah.
because like it's not just to do with switching fandoms. It's like because you had some cognizance of me as like my old channel
Forever
name.
Freest.
Yeah, because
I could not link the two people together until recently.
because I made that like awful birthday rap for you that one year.
You did.
I tried so hard.
Loved that. I remember listening to that, and I loved that so much. I did not realize that was you.
Yeah.
Until recently.
Yeah.
I always just thought of you as two different people.
So it's fun. So like I've talked about this a little bit before. I always hesitate because I don't want to delete my old channel because I know there are people that still like watching some of those videos from back when I did that.
Yeah.
But I don't love the idea of like people who know me now seeing like how cringy a lot of my old stuff was.
Don't worry. I get that.
Yeah, but like, so my old name was...
Schwabity has that one Gangnam Style video he doesn't want anyone to see. It would be a terrible thing for me to mention it on a podcast. But there's that video of Schwabity doing Gangnam Style at Buck, and it's actually the first recording of me and Schwabity on the same... We didn't know each other then, but you see me like walking by him, and... That's It's so crazy. That's like the first,
just like a Bigfoot sighting from like when it,
like 10 years ago. Anyway, you were saying, sorry.
Yeah. So okay. So my old like name at the time was Forever Freest.
Yes.
Just two words smushed together, Forever and Freest. Which was so I've always loved like anagrams and like word puzzles and stuff. So it's an anagram of Everfree Forest, except that there's an E missing, and the idea is that you always lose something coming out of Everfree Forest.
Okay.
So it was like a clever thing-ish, but like obviously nobody ever knew like why I was called that, and nobody knew that freest was a word, so they pronounced it freest. And then
Freest.
My friends who like knew how it was pronounced would just make fun of me by calling me Freest, even though they knew, and they would spell it how it's spelled now. And so when I started
That's
a new
how you
channel,
got your new name.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I guess I'm just Freest now. And what's funny now is that people call me Free Seed and Free Said and any number of things that aren't Freest.
That aren't the mispronunciation.
Yeah.
They're mispronouncing the mispronunciation.
Yeah. I think what trips them up is
incredible.
that like free is a word, so they think it's like, oh, it's Free Said.
Free
Maybe
Said.
his name's like Cedric or something.
Or freakhead.
Yeah. Freaked. I've been called Freaked before.
Freecid. I'm looking at your old channel right now.
Yeah.
What's
What's on there anymore? I don't.
It's just
I
all
think
your
I
old Brony
privated
music.
like a couple things. Well, you know what's funny? I think the first or like one of the very first things I ever put on that channel wasn't a pony song. It was just like a general nerdcore song. Yeah, it was like a
comic. Yeah,
it was just like a bunch of comic book references.
Yeah. The second thing, the Happy Birthday Pipsqueak, the Happy Birthday song to me on my birthday.
Yeah,
I have it liked, and there I am on this current channel saying, thank you so much.
Did I say something cringy in response? I bet I did.
Nope. No, you didn't. You blanked me.
I didn't reply.
You did not reply.
Oh my, that's so funny because when LOLs, IBDL, I bring to LOLs, commented on one of my videos quite a bit later, or some amount of time later, which he had just stumbled upon. Like I don't know how we found it, because it wasn't a pony song, so it wouldn't have been on EQD or anything. He just found it somehow. And he commented on it, and I left like the cringiest possible like weeb reply to him, and I left it up just as kind of like a reminder to myself of I could always be worse than I am now. I could always be that.
I could always be worse.
But that's kind of something we have in common is like just like LOLs sort of being like an encouragement and like a I don't know like a little
if it wasn't for LOLs I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's I feel much the same way, and I feel like you were like definitely a lot more like sort of like communicated with LOLs more, especially starting out.
Well, yeah. So LOLs used to have a live stream, right? And he would It was it was pre-Twitch time, so it was livestream.com. And livestream.com used to have a feature on it where you could make other people producers, which meant and they could live stream on your live stream. So the live streams became less of like this person's live stream and more like communities.
Yeah.
So there were like 10 different people who would live stream on Lowell's live stream. And for some reason, he let me be one of those 10 or so. And I used to live stream on his live stream a lot and to hang out with the people in his live stream. What I would mostly do is I would read My Little Pony fan fiction on stream. So people would tune in to listen to a 13-year-old kid go, and Rainbow Dash put her hoof on it. That was like, people enjoyed that. The other thing I did was play, have you ever heard of the game Katawa Shoujo?
No.
Oh gosh, okay. Katawa Shoujo is one of those games that when you describe it to someone, it sounds like the worst. It sounds like a joke or like a terrible, terrible game. But it's one of those. It's a don't judge its book by its cover story.
Okay.
In a don't judge its book by its cover tin. So it's the team is a bunch of people from 4chan decided to make a game where you date disabled girls. Right? When I say that, it's like, oh, this sounds like a weird fetish game that's a bunch of 4chan people. But it's really, really well written and really heartfelt, and all of the characters are really well realized, and it's handled very delicately, and it's you get to like see their struggles, but also how they overcome them and how it doesn't define them. And a lot of the characters end up doing things at odds. So like the track team member is the person who doesn't have legs, and the artist is the one that doesn't have arms, and the student council president is the one that's mute and deaf and stuff like that, right?
That's
and
so interesting.
I played it. Yeah, it's free, so I'd recommend it.
And 4chan made it.
And so a bunch of people on 4chan, what happened was a bunch of the character designs were made by like a random Japanese, I can't remember exactly, but like this Japanese author, like manga author, like doodled a bunch of character designs for a disabled girl dating sim or something in the back of one of his mangas or something, like his comics. And people on 4chan saw this and were like, oh, yo, we should make this into an actual game. And just people on 4chan were like showing like, oh, we could do this and do that. And then they got together and made a team out of all the people, and they all just worked together, and they just did it for free, and the game's free.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really crazy, and it is good, right? I played it on stream as a kid, and I loved it.
Wow.
And it was the first dating simulator I'd ever played because I was like 13, 14, but I think it's pretty good, so I definitely would recommend it to you.
Yeah, I guess that's
it's a unique experience. It's got good music too. So
my current sim that I'm playing is PC Building Simulator, which is where you date graphics cards, which is unattainable in real life. So it's kind of nice going out with a nice 3080 Ti. You imagine?
TI stands for
Terminator.
Titties in what? Anyway, yes. So Lowe's. When I started making my raps, because I did that sort of stuff on there before I started actually doing my rap music, and I've told the story a million times. Someone dared me to do a rap because they thought I'd be bad at it, and I did it, and it wasn't that bad. And then Lowe's continued to encourage me to keep writing raps, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here, which is great.
Yeah.
So
that's I feel like it's like I feel a similar sentiment as far as like if it weren't for Lowe's, I wouldn't be here. Like I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
But like it's kind of interesting because obviously for me with my like barely being online and my like sort of very like remote like tangential sort of like dipping a toe in the pool and like sort of like coming right up to the water's edge and then coming back from the internet all the time. Just like trying to participate in online culture without like hardly being online at all. It's crazy like how some of these people, these like sort of, I don't know, internet personalities, if you will, like ended up influencing me so much.
It's crazy which ones are still around.
Yeah.
Like who was big in the Brony music community that now still create music and have a community?
Yeah.
I can. There was a couple, but some of them we can't talk about anymore because of incidents that have happened with them recently. But the Living Tombstone is the big one.
Living
right?
Tombstone, yeah.
And then
Silverhound, right?
Silverhound now, just
Yeah.
because he made the breakthrough with the Hasbin Hotel thing.
Yeah, okay.
And there was another big one, but he shall not be named.
right.
And I don't know much else, because most of them either just moved on with their lives after the whole Brony thing died down, or the microphone became a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, can I tell you about yelling at cats? Oh my God!
I was just gonna bring this up.
I have to tell you. Okay, I have to tell you the yelling at cat story, and I hope he doesn't listen to this. There's no way he's going to listen to this. I got to tell you the yelling at cat story.
I want to know.
I talked to him again recently. Oh, okay. So here's the context for everyone. Yelling at cats. He was a Brony rapper, but he was like in the community. He was the cool guy who swore, and he was the bad boy who did naughty things. Right?
He was a Swagberg wannabe.
He wanted to be he wanted the bad boy.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of people angry. He did a lot of bad things, but he always explained it away like, that's just me. I'm the cool rapper guy, and I say fuck in my raps, and I talk about fucking ponies, right?
Yes.
And he would call people out and do diss tracks and stuff like that. Yeah. I did a rap battle with him. It was like my second ever rap. I hadn't spoken to him for like 8 years, right? He disappeared off the platform. His channel gone and everything. But I remembered his first name. And I looked up his first name with Yelling at Cats to see if I could find his second name, and I did. And then I found him on Facebook, and I messaged him. And he, when I talked to him, and I said, hey, do you remember me? I used to be called Pipsqueak. You rap battled me, etc. He said something along the lines of, yes, I do. I hope God has blessed you on your journeys. I hope God has blessed you over these many years. It turns out, right, he went through like a 180 change and went from bad boy, edgy teen to hyper-religious zealot. Right? Like, I've never met a more religious man, but also it whiplashed me so much. He just kept talking about how Jesus had saved him and stuff. And I talked to him a little bit, and then he suddenly called me on Facebook, right, out of the blue, and
I would jump out of my skin.
He called me, and then I said, I was like, oh, hey, how are you doing? He was like, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? And I said, yeah, I'm doing good. I've been making music. And he's like, great. And then he just jumps into his life story. He was like, great, 8 years ago. He said, my past is better left in the winds of time. And he just started apologizing for everything he had done. But I didn't know he had done stuff. So he started admitting to things that I had no idea about. He was apologizing for being an asshole and stuff. He was saying oh, I was on drugs 24/7. I did stuff to purposely make people mad. And I hated life. And then he started he really was I don't think he'd had anyone talk to about this for 8 years. He started saying, and yeah, I scammed people and I'm not proud of it. And I'm like, I didn't even know this. And he was like, yeah, I may have made that kid, he had this incident apparently where he made a kid fillet a My Little Pony plushie or something. I can't fucking remember. And he was just admitting to all of this shit. And I was like, yo, this is so much. And then what cracked me up, I couldn't actually laugh, was in the same tone of voice where he was distraught, admitting his sins about scamming children and doing all this horrible stuff. He also went, and I didn't even fucking watch the show, man.
The greatest sin of all.
So he never watched My Little Pony. So fun fact. He never did. He did it for the easy bag, as we say. He made raps about it for the easy bag. But he seemed to be more ashamed of the fact that he didn't even watch the show than all of this other crazy shit. He sounded so guilty. He just really was rambling. And then he was like, I found Christ, man. It's given me peace. I was an edgy atheist, and then Jesus found me. He talked a lot about how he doesn't care about the clout for someone who doesn't care about the clout.
Okay. Do you prefer the old cats or the new cats? Meeting one on the street today.
Oh my God. I don't know. this newfound cat, he listened to one of my songs and he kept saying yeet and swag as the song was playing constantly. Just like, not ironically, he like legitimately was like, yeet, swag. I was like, oh, fuck it hell. He also said, God gifted you with this talent, and he tried to convert me.
That's
my
so
God.
wild.
It was so surreal. I felt like I was going through like
imagine.
like ethereal experience, because it was like so much whiplash. They were a completely different person, and I don't think I could properly explain this experience for if you don't know Yelling at Cats and what he was like before. It really took everything out of me. And I hope he doesn't listen to this. But he immediately afterwards really wanted to. He took one look at my channel and he kept being like, "Whoa, yo, anime, now that's cool." And then he kept trying to send me his beats, and it seemed like he really wanted to
get back into the mix,
get back into all of it, and like piggyback off my sort of.
And then then 8 years later, you find out he doesn't even watch Pokemon.
His Facebook feed is just him posting Bible quotes.
I mean, okay, I guess like it seems like he's sort of in a place now where he is maybe annoying people, but not actively hurting himself or others. So I'm happy about that.
Oh, he seems to be it seems fine.
Now
right?
that is still wild. And
it's just a lot of whiplash, I think.
It's crazy that you brought that up, because I mean, within the past 3 months, I have done like deep searches trying to find anything about what happened to cats, because
well, there you go. I've got your answers for you. That's what's happened to Cats. He actually he does produce music under a different name now, which I will not say on the podcast just in case. But he does produce music under a different name. He looks very different now as well.
I'm
I
not
guess you
sure.
didn't really know what he looked like anyway.
I didn't know what he looked like before. I knew him from his voice and the many stories.
Still sounds the same.
That came back from from cons and the like. I thought it was gonna go one of two ways on this episode. Like, it was either gonna be like the most chill episode ever, or it was gonna have this like sort of like lock in like sleepover energy, you know what I mean? Where you're like 12 years old and like your friends are over and nobody slept and you're all just like wired off of soda and whatever. Yeah. It's like 9 a.m. and your friend Zach is putting peanut M&Ms in his Coke. It's like that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Just right.
Except for that sentence sounds so American. Friend Zach.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
There's so many other, like, this is probably frustrating for people who listen to this and only know me as the anime rapper guy, who are like, I want to know about Rustage's anime rap stuff and his things. What's his favorite anime? One Piece. But I wonder, like, Tapora Walker, Sickness. Who else?
I have a memory of you doing a battle with Sickness as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I did do a rap battle with Sickness. And it's just crazy. What are they doing now? They're a bit easier. Sickness, he's a sushi chef.
Really?
And yes.
Okay.
Really.
I don't know like why. There's nothing like inherently like contradictory about that. It's just sort of like that's
what he's doing.
Sort of just like the sort of I don't know like the
he's a line chef.
Quick like learning anything about somebody that you had never expected to get more information about. I guess that's what it is.
I think he's a sushi chef, and I played D&D with him like 2 years ago. Like, he was part of my D&D group, but then he had to leave. And yeah, he was. So I've talked to him. He's still pretty much the same. And I think a lot of his like kind of sexually explicit humor that I thought was funny when I was a kid, I just find uncomfortable now.
This like doesn't age well.
Yeah, you know.
Or like it doesn't age well like as you age and like progress.
Yes, yeah.
That
was the thing. I found actually I had a lot of friends in the Brony community when I was a kid, but I realize now in hindsight it's because mentally, you know, I got on with them because they were all quite childish, right? Their sense of humor, and
I get, yeah.
a lot of them, if I met them nowadays, I'm not saying Sickness. I think Sickness is all, he's. I've talked to him recently. I think he's all right. But there was a lot of other bronies that if I met nowadays, I would not get along with. But I got along with really well when I was 13.
That's fair.
Temporal Walker, I think, is just in university doing stuff. They don't write rap anymore. It's interesting. It's interesting.
How by the way, did you get back in touch with Lulz to like get him on stuff, or was it like you kept in touch with him over the years?
Well, he live streams on his YouTube channel, so I just pop into his live streams whenever he live streams. I'm like one of his only viewers, and
I do the same.
Yeah, and that's how I just kept in touch with him. I was just able to contact him through there.
Interesting.
Talk to him via that.
Yeah, he's kind of in and out. Like sometimes it's hard
he
to
just
catch
takes
a hold of
months
him,
to make anything, so I can't have him on that many things. Yeah, he wanted to make a SpongeBob cipher, but that was like a year ago. He started that.
I
recommended you to him, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I knew that, but I.
Oh,
yeah.
Did he ask you?
Yeah, he did.
That's because I recommended it.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that like comes together. I am ready.
Well, I'm doing his Soka versus Orochimaru with him.
Okay.
And I'll whip him into doing that with finishing that on time. Apparently, he's already been thinking about it, so it should be okay.
He's really a perfectionist, I think, and he always has been.
I have a sense, a little bit of an off topic, but I have still the same topic though. It's not about Lars. There's this weird sense of like achievement that I have inside of me for overtaking all of these old Brony musicians I used to look up to, and not look up to, like I used to look up to them, but these were people who would look down on me and be condescending to me. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of big Brony musicians because I was a kid, who wouldn't give me the time of day, and now, look at me now. I'm like, I'm so, that sounds really arrogant, but I'm so far ahead of them now that it's even at a point where I couldn't even comprehend. Like, it's crazy. You ever think about Mike the Microphone? Like, he was like the biggest rapper. I was like, wow, one day I want to be like him. He's got 80,000 subscribers. Schwabity has more than him now. I found with Mike as a kid, he was very much, there's a few people like this, but Mike, I found very much was like it almost felt like he had two personalities, weirdly. He had like a face, and he was like really charismatic and kind and helpful to everyone. And then sometimes he just seemed to be really mean and grouchy for no reason. And it was like weird. It just felt like weird two people. And I this is weird that I'm like weirdly slagging off Brony musicians from years ago. I think he's a great person. When I met him at Buck, I just remember him being so like distant and uncaring for most of it, and then occasionally he seemed really charismatic and into everyone and wanted to talk, and then all of a sudden again he was like really kind of rude and and cold, and it was just so weird. Seeing like this, like I just could not comprehend that as a personality.
Yeah, there was a lot like when Mike started streaming more. I didn't know anything about Twitch. I tuned into one of their streams like one time.
Yeah,
and didn't know how Twitch worked. Was terrified of it. Didn't watch it forever. So it had been a long time since I like knew anything about Mike, and then I came back and I was like, okay, like Mike has been like doing their thing. Like at some point during that time, started going by they them pronouns, and like all this other development that I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I'm like happy for them, but it's crazy. Like I don't know. There's some sort of like when you're a big fan of somebody for doing a specific thing at a certain point in your life, and then you don't hear about them or think of them for a long time, you kind of expect them to stay there. You expect them to be doing that same thing, or
yeah, of course. But people change. People
right?
Change.
Like,
and I'm also like my experience with this sort of weird like two personality thing with Mike is probably not relevant nowadays. It was probably just for that part.
Yeah,
and it seemed friendly enough on stream.
I have I think I have a very bad gauge when it comes to telling whether people like me. So I try not to think about it too much.
I'm on the default that I think most people just like me, but it's
I
like,
feel that.
and I understand it because I feel like I definitely am not a very pleasant person to talk to. I just feel like I bother people a lot, just with my, not like I'm bothering them by messaging them a lot. I mean, like when I talk to people one-on-one in a conversation, I feel like I have quite a bothersome personality. Like I talk too much, and I'm just kind of, I say stupid off-topic things and I ramble a lot, and I feel like I could be annoying, and so I just kind of presume that most people by default don't get along with me, and then but I'm also in a position where I don't mind if they don't, because I'm not going to change myself. I'm just have to find the people who don't mind this. And that's kind of the position I'm in with most people.
I feel that. I don't have any solutions for you. I'm not a therapist. If I had a solution for you, I would apply it to myself, because I feel exactly the same way.
I actually feel really bad, because I had an interview with Internet City, the reaction channel, and it felt like they asked a question that I gave such a sad and depressing answer to, and I just started talking about really sad stuff, and it just felt like it turned into a therapy session, and I feel really bad for them. Like, I should have kept it upbeat, and I knew I probably dragged it down and made the interview way worse, where like there's a 30-minute chunk in the middle where I'm like, I don't know, I sometimes just feel like a blah blah blah, and they're like, it's okay, dude. You know, I honestly thought they were going to cut it out, but it's there.
You know, one of the things that I cared about the most when I decided to start the Breakfreeced Club was, first, that I had to make a podcast the second I thought of that name. The second thing was that every podcast I've made before, pretty much, had been a comedy podcast, and the pressure was on to
be
it's
funny.
Gotta be jokes. You got to be funny the whole time.
You got to be a funny joke man.
And it had been funny. Like my old podcasts that I'd done before, they were pretty good and they were funny, but there was always that pressure of being funny. And
yeah.
If something stalled, or if I Caffeine, who's always been my co-host, if we had kind of a melancholy moment in the middle, it killed the show. And I was like, yeah. I don't want that. I want to have a show where you can have mellow moments, you can have contemplative moments, and
do whatever you want.
Yeah, and there's definitely been a few of those moments on the Breakfreeced Club, and that's something that I really like about it, because it really honestly doing this podcast is often my favorite part of the week, because it's just it's just the most.
It's the only human interaction you get.
You know what? Sometimes, but it's
finally they let me talk to another person.
I mean, so as somebody who's really introverted, I definitely thrive on one-on-one conversations, and that's something that I don't get.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah,
I hate group chats. If they're higher than 5 people, I cannot handle it.
It's stressful.
I just can't.
It's a little easier for me if people have cameras on, but
I don't know. I cannot. If it's 5 or more people, I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think the only place I've been, okay, if it's a Jackbox game, I'm cool with that. But I feel like everybody isn't talking all the time, and because people are trying to think of their answers and stuff. Hanging out in Breton's server has been okay, but that's because I know what it's going to be like. I go in there, and it's a madhouse, and Mark is probably starting a fight about something that pissed him off.
I think,
which is so funny because he's such a good vibes guy. but it always seems like he has some.
Mark is not a good vibes guy.
is.
What are you talking
He is-
about?
he is a
he
dede
wants
dede.
to be a good vibes guy. He keeps instilling that because he knows that he
Here's
Mark is like
I would not presume to know Mark better than you do.
the greatest
Yeah.
guy. He is my best friend, and I love Mark. But there are a lot of people piss him off, and he gets angry, right?
Yeah.
So he tries to be like, I'm a good vibes guy. Put good vibes in the chat. He's he if he doesn't put good vibes in his stream title, he forgets. He forgets to bring those good vibes.
I feel like fundamentally he is not like a I don't know. He's not a bad vibes guy. He's definitely not a bad vibes guy.
No.
But he is a frequently annoyed guy.
Yeah. He's a passionately angry fella.
Yeah.
Which
but I
is
feel like
funny most of the time. I mean, he's actually, I don't think, ever been angry at me for something he's actually been angry at. Because
I would die.
I think he's been frustrated with me, but
would
it's always
simply
been
die.
something like, I like to build powerful characters in D&D, and he doesn't. And we argue about the fact that it's like, I think it's fun to be able to, D&D has different appeals to different people. So I think it's fun to, if I want to create a character, a multi-class or a character that is powerful within the limitations of the rules, I think, you should be able to let that happen. And he thinks, well, if one person is powerful and nobody else is, it ruins the fun for other players. Whereas then I think, well, that's only if they want to also be powerful, right? Because if they're, as you say, playing for the roleplay aspect, then they won't care if my character's more powerful than them. And it goes back and forth like that, right?
Yeah. Well, and so like that's something that I really appreciate about him and like anybody else that I see this quality in. I'm just like having like set opinions about things, not necessarily like not being willing to change your opinion, but like knowing what you think about things and being willing to like go head to head with somebody about it. As long as it's not like a needlessly stressful, overly confrontational thing. But like, because like me, I'm a very non-confrontational person. I've spent like most of my life sort of like mediating conflicts between people and like, sort of facilitating compromise and things like that. So I feel like I wish that I had more of that, of being willing to be like, no, here's the thing that I think, and here's why I think it's right. I wish I had a bit more of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think both me and Mark actually do have quite malleable opinions. There's a lot of things that we don't have our minds made up about that we will change our opinions on. But I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I am me, and I think I said this earlier, where I'm lucky enough that I could just keep acting like myself, and if people don't like me, then they don't have to talk to me, and that's fine by me, because I don't think I'm doing anything that's like actively harming anyone. I'm just a little stupid boy. And I say stupid things. One
of the like, I think the hardest thing for me to accept in life, like if the one thing above anything else that I have the most trouble accepting is that it is not possible for every single person in the world to like me all at once.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's plenty of people who don't like me. Yeah.
And like, every time that I directly have that thought, it concerns me. And it's
people are gonna hate you, Freest. We hated you back in the day.
I was gonna say
we actually didn't hate you. We just thought you were a knobhead. We come into this.
I kind of want to. Yeah, I kind of want to recount this.
Than everyone.
You talked about this on your 500K stream, but
yeah,
I think that's like one of the only times it's really been like sort of like laid out as a narrative. But like,
God, we made fun of you so much. We didn't even realize it was you.
It was like 2-3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, Freest came into my Discord server back in the day
when I didn't have any clue of how Discord worked.
Pre anime raps, I was just doing my Overwatch raps and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was quite a small channel. There weren't many people in my Discord.
I do this thing too much where I forget that people don't know me or people don't know that I'm a very chill person, and so I'll do a joke that like with no context comes across as abrasive.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm sarcastically being that because it's so contrary to who I am.
Here's the thing.
Have you pulled it up?
Yeah, I pulled it up.
Oh no!
The discussion was, we were talking about
something to do with adverbs and gerunds.
Okay, we were talking about fun. Someone said, "Did you know that fun is a noun, so we don't say funner?"
Right.
But fun is also an adjective.
Right.
But because fun is an adjective.
Right.
And people say we use it more as an adjective. So, and that's
Like
what Strawberry was saying. And then you came in saying, now hold up now. I wouldn't say it's used more as an adjective. Have fun, that's a noun. True, we'd already established that, but we were saying more people use it as an adjective, so saying funner is acceptable. But you were on camp, it's used more as a noun.
Yeah.
And then someone else came in and said it's a noun and an adjective. That's not a difficult concept.
I got hyper focused. That's what happened to me.
You got really into you were really talking about how like saying it in the context where we were saying it was an adjective, that it could still be a noun.
Yeah.
And Olaf said, "Are you an intellectual?" And you said, "No, I'm just an English major." And
Right.
someone said, "That's saddening." And then someone said, "That's even more depressing from Jordan being an English major." You said, "My lack of employment gives me time to think about words a lot."
Yeah.
And then you said later,
I was trying to do a joke about how like people always say like English majors can't get jobs. That was what I was going for. Did not land.
"No, well, and then you said you're at work right now." And then someone said, "How could you be working and unemployed?"
Oh no.
And you said, "Oh my God, I forgot to tell you about sarcasm."
Yeah.
And then someone said, "That's not what sarcasm is," which actually, to be fair, isn't what sarcasm is. You just made a joke about your lack of employment, but it wasn't sarcastic. It was just what you said. It was a joke about English majors.
Well, to be fair, if I'm going to be an English major here for a second, sarcasm is saying something and meaning the opposite. I mean, that is the general interpretation of sarcasm. The problem was it came across 0% as sarcasm.
That's what you saying my lack of employment gives me time to think about words a lot. It's not you saying the opposite. It was just you making a joke about how you could be unemployed because you're an English major.
Yeah, it was...
that statement is independent of you being employed or not.
It was horribly worded.
It was, yes. And
completely unnecessary.
Then you said, to be fair, I should have specified that I was joking.
Yeah, I was spiraling.
And I said, I wish I was an English... This is it. This is what everyone loved. I popped in. I was like, I wish I was an English major so I knew what sarcasm was.
Yeah. and then I died. I crawled out of my skin and I hid in a cellar for 3 years.
And you said... if I'm being honest, I feel like that might be what a gerund is, but if anyone knows what a gerund is, it's not me because I'm not a smart cookie. And then Mark goes, "How are you an English major and you don't know what a fucking gerund is?"
Yeah.
And then you go, I sometimes know what a gerund is."
This is true. That's still true.
So,
this is painful.
and then you kept being like, "This is what a gerund is," and then everyone was like, "No."
That is a...
And then you left. Then you left and never came back.
For anybody who's hearing this and thinking like that you've done that, or that seems familiar to like how something that's happened to you in a conversation before, let me tell you, that is textbook anxiety. That went untreated for years after that, and
I'm so sorry.
Please talk to somebody. If you find yourself doing that, please talk to somebody. Please get therapy or meds, because nobody should have to spiral into just mad rambling nonsense like that, or to subject anybody else to that.
It was just so funny.
Learn from me.
At the time, and I probably told it terribly, reading it pretty terribly. But I think we were in a call at the time or something, and that's why it was just so funny to us.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, we kept referencing that for years. Whenever someone would be sarcastic, we would say, like, I don't understand what sarcasm is. I'm not an English major, right?
Yeah.
And then you weren't actually... I don't remember if you were called Freest then when you came in, or something else.
I don't think I was. I might have been, or it might have been, like, Freest.
I remember it was... We were in a call, like, this year.
Yeah.
Like this year. And... we were talking about that conversation, and it was like, I remember that being funny. I want to go back and look at it. So I went back and looked at it, like searched in the word gerund, and and then I discovered it was you, and I was like, Mark, it was Freest. And he was like, no, not Freest. It was hilarious.
I guess what we should take from this is that even having the worst moment of your life socially does not necessarily mean that those people will hate you forever.
Was that your worst moment of your life socially?
I can't say for sure, but I can tell you that when I thought about that pretty much every day after it happened.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude.
I was so, because I knew that, like, it was just me, like, spiraling, like, me just, like, trying desperately to say anything to sort of, like, dig myself out, but I was just, like, digging myself deeper because that's how it is. And
I mean, it was partially our fault because we were finding it funny. I think we were.
Well, honestly, like, nobody in there was being like, nobody was being really mean spirited to me. I wouldn't say that at all. Like, people were definitely making fun, but, like, it was hilarious. It was like, and it was ludicrous. It was ridiculous. I was being ridiculous, and in hindsight, like, I can see that, you know, and I could see that even just like
it was crazy
very, very soon afterwards. But
crazy cat. Oh my god.
Live and learn.
Well, I'm so sorry that it affected you so negatively for so long.
You know, I think honestly, it was one of the moments that, like, made me eventually realize that, like, that it was more than just being, like, socially awkward, that I should, like, talk to like a doctor about anxiety, and so it ended up helping me in the long run.
Well, I'm so happy that it could be a positive experience.
So thank you for roasting me in Discord.
Oh god. A couple of days later, you did actually come back.
Did I?
And this is yeah, and then you disappeared for 3 years. But you said this about a week later.
Oh no.
Oh shit, a My Hero Academia song. I'm so happy. Thanks for making this. Thank you, Schwabity. Thank you, Rustage.
Oh, okay. I tried.
So there you go.
I think probably if I had just, like, continued, like, just stayed in the server and just kept that vibe, I think everybody would have been very chill with me very quickly.
I mean, yeah.
But I was so far in my own head. Yeah. But that's how it is. But
and I'm telling you, right? You may have kind of came off as condescending then, but there are people that I have to deal with nowadays who are infinitely more condescending.
Yeah.
And critical and frustrating to deal with. Yeah. Yours was just funny.
Oh,
yours was just so funny.
I was thinking about this is kind of related because I think one of the things that, like, definitely led to a lot of those, like I talked about, like, posting, like, a cringy reply to Lulz when he commented on my, you know, old video, and then, like, just that sort of interaction was, like, definitely me feeling like there was just, like, this like gap between, like, me and the, like, people that I was a fan of, and it was weird being in the same place as them, and, like, feeling like I had to immediately do something that would, like, get people to like me, and then when that didn't immediately work,
when that didn't work, then you would panic. Which I get that
is not the way to make friends with people. The way you make friends with people is you be around, like, in the same place as them, you be a familiar face, you, like, participate in general conversations, and eventually, like,
you show that you care.
Yeah.
and you're friendly, right?
I mean, occasionally, like you click with somebody and you just end up talking all the time. Like that's kind of like me and Lyndon. Like that we just.
I'm
clicked.
glad that you and Lyndon have found each other, because you definitely are, like, in my head, similar people.
We are.
Right.
We're kind of simultaneously like the same person and like a one true pairing.
Yeah.
And I don't
It's
know
great.
where
It's
where
great.
Lyndon's girlfriend factors, but irrelevant.
It's unimportant. No, it's great. And one day I hope you can come to QCon.
Oh, yeah. I've said this before, but like I would be very surprised if I am not like living in the UK in the next 5 years.
Oh, that's incredible. Well,
that's my goal. I've always wanted to since I was like a little kid. That's been my. I've just been a Teaboo. Like
You're a Teaboo.
I've been a Teaboo. I told you, like, I was
Ugh.
listening to those like BBC radio dramas, and like I grew up reading like P.G. Wodehouse books and like watching, to like Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry stuff.
I have to teach you all about London British culture.
Yeah,
You have
I love
to.
it. I need to figure out which accent I'm gonna have for when I don't want to be an American.
You gotta go. You don't want fucking Mark's accent.
I don't want Mark's accent, but I do want a Northern accent. I want a pure Yorkshire accent. That's what I want.
Can you cut out the bit where I said the town that he was from?
I think he said it like on stream, but yeah, I will.
No,
you know what?
he
I will-
says a bigger town.
Oh,
than
I will like obnoxiously censor it. I'll put like
Okay.
what sound should I use to censor it?
One of my moans from my Hisoka rap, I could send you it.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear one of my moans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
send
Go.
it. Send it over.
Listen.
I'm definitely not going to be sampling that and making it into a whole track.
Here it is. Here's my Hisoka moans.
Plural?
Isolated.
Oh, okay. Well,
What?
I'm
Oh,
listening
it's
to
all of
this.
them.
Why is there so much reverb? I wasn't
Well, they were
expect-
ad-libs.
Yeah, when you said isolated, I thought it was like stems, and then I
No.
hit that, and I was just like transported to an island of euphoria.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you enjoy my moans. I'm a moan broker.
A moan broker. That's kind of a bar.
Yeah.
Moan money, moan
broker.
problems.
Give me your girl, I'll choke her. I already have a bar with that where I say a pencil pusher put her through the
COVID.
head like the Joker. So
COVID
I
got
already do
me
that
in
right.
my coffin. Bram Stoker.
Oh, I don't know
It's
who
nothing.
that is.
He wrote Dracula.
Oh,
It's like in my coffin. It's
I wouldn't understand. I'm not an English major.
I've never read Dracula. Let me be very clear on that point. Being an English major is this. It is knowing the titles of lots of books and knowing what they're about and maybe having read like 4 of them.
I actually read quite a lot recently, but it's mostly been fantasy books.
I would say that almost every book that would be like, oh yeah, you're an English major, of course you've read that book. Every book that is like that for me, like 90% I read as a kid. And then when I got to school, I read like Spark Notes or like single chapters. And I tested well. And I wrote
I'm going to make a rap about a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mistborn.
Oh, Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, have you read it? Or do you just know about
No, but I know of it. I do have a Brandon Sanderson book in my room that I've been meaning to read.
You should read Mistborn. It's good. I'm on the 3rd book right now.
Have you
And
have
I'm
you
gonna-
read The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan?
I just couldn't get into it.
How far did you get into it?
Not very far. So here's the thing.
Like, did you read the
it's-
first complete
Okay.
book or the first couple or
No,
just
no,
part
I
of the first
didn't
book?
get that far.
Okay.
So here's the thing about fantasy books is I know I like fantasy conceptually,
Yeah.
but I found it really difficult to get into certain books.
Wheel of Time is very difficult to get through. I've only gotten
Yes.
through like 4 of them. The only
Wheel
reason I
of
asked is
Time-
because there's a Wheel of Time bar in my new song that I don't think anyone's going to get.
Well, I might get it just because of like osmosis knowledge of it. But
Yeah.
the thing
You'll
about Wheel of
recognize the
Time-
character's name, I think. that I
Maybe.
reference.
Wheel of Time, Game of Thrones. There's a bunch of other that I tried to get into because I was like, I know I like fantasy. I must like this. And people were saying these are like really great, and I couldn't get into them until I read Mistborn, which I just found immediately interesting, easy to read. The characters are really great. I just think it was such a good and fun and easy read that I just whizzed through it. Yeah, there
Wow.
you go.
And thanks everyone for listening to the Breakfreeced Book Club. That is actually a thing that we should do on this show, is like book recommendations.
Yeah,
That
or
would-
just like discuss a book. If you read
that.
read the first Mistborn book, I will be on an episode of Breastfeed.
Breastfeed Club?
I will be on an episode of the Breakfreeced Book Club where you discuss Mistborn.
That would be okay. If I ever get like, I don't know
Or
how many.
Shogun by James Clavell.
James Clavell. I don't know how many subs I would have to start a Patreon. I don't think it would be any less than like 20,000. But if I get there and I start one, that would be like prime Patreon content. The Breakfast Book Club, which would be like
You can start a Patreon
additional
at any amount of. You just
podcast.
won't get any Patreons, but that's okay. just still have one.
I don't want to start one and then like, because at that point I feel like I could be sending somebody just a letter in the mail if it's my one patron, you know, and that's better. You know what I would do if I had like the resources? I would record like, so I'm really into microcassette recorders.
Yeah.
I would record like, I would have a club where the first, like when you first join it, you get sent a like microcassette player, or like I guess really a recorder, and then every month you would get like a custom microcassette recording, and it would be like the most niche thing, because it's not even just cassettes. It's not even just cassettes. It's microcassettes.
Microcassettes.
Yeah.
You could put like murder instructions on them.
Yeah, it's
so you can so they know how to do a murder.
You can Google that, or at least you can Bing it.
Well, no, but like you have a specific murder plot that you want to fulfill. It requires a lot of different people to do different things at the same time.
Like that one Whitest Kids You Know sketch where they're like, "Here's how not to kill the president."
I don't know that sketch, but listen, you can't reference TV shows and movies and stuff to me. I won't get it.
Other people listen to this podcast besides for just you on it right now.
I forgot we're recording a podcast.
That is the goal. That's why I love the podcast, because it's literally
I shouldn't have talked about how big my penis is.
I cut that out. I don't mean the audio. I mean I did get in there.
Cut off my penis. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, did you edit out? You probably edit out that bit where I go on that 20-minute rant about how much I hate every nerdcore artist, and I like go detail them, and I say everything I hate about them. And
that's actually on my Patreon. So
it's on your Patreon. Subscribe to Freesed's Patreon.
Yeah, does not exist. And then the other thing that doesn't exist is an ending to this episode, because Rustage records in FL Studio, which is a garbage bozo program for dum-dum heads. And he can't stop me saying that because he's not here anymore. So yeah, sorry about that. But we were close to the end, and I'm sure that if Rustage were here, now it sounds like he died. He's fine. He's fine. Just his recording shut off. But I think I can handle wrapping this one up. You can find. Wait. Okay. See, now without a guess, I'm falling apart. What do we normally do here? What's the? Okay. One good vibe. My one good vibe this week, this year, is you folks. You all my dinos who listen and who hang out with me on Discord and follow me on Twitter and talk to me over there, and are always in the comment section, just being real positive and wholesome and bringing good vibes. I appreciate that. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate all of you, and getting to talk to you over the past several months, really this whole last year that I've been on YouTube. And on Discord and everywhere else, and Twitch chats and whatnot. It's really just like a very bright part of my life, and I'm really grateful for it. So you all are my good vibe this week, and like I said, this year. Happy New Year almost. It's be coming out on the 30th. So almost there, almost 2021. I can't guarantee that everything's going to roll over and suddenly just be perfect next year, but I think some things are going to start to look up, and I sure look forward to facing the future with all of you, because I think we're gonna get through it just fine. Okay, what else? Right, Rustage's links. Well, you can, I mean, I'll put his links in the description. You could also just type Rustage into Google. I'm pretty sure that'll pull, I'm pretty sure that'll pull up, everything. Yeah, he's on Twitter. He's on, Instagram, I think. He's on Twitch. Just Google Rustage, and I'll put his links in the description. What else? Stream his new song. Check out. Yeah, it's Rustage. You know it's Rustage. Just if you've never heard of Rustage, I don't know how you found this podcast. Honestly, you can find me on Twitter at @MeFreeced, on Instagram at FreecedRaps, on twitch.tv/Freeced with 6 E's in the middle. That's FREEEEECED. I promise I'm going to start streaming soon. I really believe that. I actually just bought Minecraft for the first time, and so my best friend is going to teach me how to play, so I might stream that if that's something y'all are interested in. What else? Oh, check out the Konoha Sensei's Cipher by Connor Quest. I'm on that as Konohamaru, which was a really fun role to do. Check out my song Johnny Carson on my main channel, Freeced. Subscribe to this channel for more episodes of the Breakfreeced Club and for some reactions and some occasional lo-fi tracks. And I think that's pretty much it. Check out the links in the description. You can find all my stuff there. Follow me on Spotify, Freeced, FREECED. You know who I am by now. Thanks for all the love, all the support, everything this year. Thanks for keeping it groovy and for all the good vibes. And I will see you all next year. Take care. And this is me, Rustage, and I'm saying cheerio, in it, love. The cavalry's here.